Yeah, I think that the key word for that is variety. Make sure that, I try to make sure that I'm not focused too deeply for too long on any one project or any one skill. I like to have variation in the types of things I think about, right? I also think it's pretty important. I would say I'm a little bit of an outlier on this in the technology field in general, that technology leaders, I think, should code to a certain extent. And I think you find a lot, or to a certain extent and as long as possible, right? Is maybe another way to say it, or as much as makes sense. I think you find a lot of like CTOs and CIOs and VP of engineering that are solely focused on team management and personnel development, which I think is fine. But my preferred approach is to try to be a committer, right? Be a collaborator on the code, and even if that means, take a really like mundane task off the backlog, right? Or something that is just like, sort of something you kind of know how to do, but you can learn a little bit as well, and you don't have a lot of, you feel that there isn't a lot of energy on the team to do that thing, but it needs to be done, right? And it's a coding task, and maybe it's like, a lot of copy paste, and you feel like you're, back in the college or something, and you're just like cramming to get something done. I think that's actually really helpful to do that kind of work, even as a manager, because it's you develop your skills and you develop that empathy, and if you're in there coding, there's a chance that you will mess things up, but I think there's less of a chance in data science, frankly, than there would be in some of the other software fields. There's a lot of, I think data scientists value multiple perspectives. And so the worst case scenario is you'll sort of present an analysis or present an approach that the rest of your team is like, well, Jeff, you didn't really think of that, and that exogenous, events or whatever. And so you'll learn in the process, and then you'll also, develop that empathy. So I'm a big believer in the doing and leading at the same time. And I try to do, 20 to 30% of my week, kind of hands-on work.